Hello, Gemini rising and sun. So I almost forgot that. Gemini risings and sun signs. This is your monthly reading for April. So this is a collective reading for all Gemini sun or rising signs. I say, like, get the full picture, watch both. You know, sometimes I feel more aligned with when I watch a reading for my sun sign versus my rising, and sometimes it's the opposite. So we're going to stick with the format that we've been doing for the monthlies because, you know, the feedback's been great. I'm still feeling it. It feels like a good, you know, way to go about it. So we're going to stick with it until it doesn't feel good. So we're taking a look at, let's take a look at, before we dive into that first card, what is your month looking like? How is it unfolding? Definitely feel like the fact that I was like focused on the rising sign for a moment, I was just like, maybe someone out there really needs to hear the rising sign one. I don't know. I'm feeling like this card here. Okay. I'm actually feeling this card here. And here. And here. Okay. Actually, I'm not like, it's interesting. I'm like not feeling this. I'm like feeling like I just took two cards that were not supposed to be in the progression. You guys have never seen me do this. I don't think this has ever happened, but I'm like, no, that's not the right, those aren't the right cards. So I don't know which deck I want to pull from actually for your spiritual advice. I feel like I almost want to choose from another deck. Yeah, I am feeling like I want to choose from another deck. Bear with me, you guys. So, spiritual advice for my Gemini rising and sun signs for the month of April. Okay. Okay. This deck is so long, you guys, for my hand. It's really challenging to shuffle, but here we go. We've got a mixed up mishmash of cards for you, which I think, I mean, kind of, isn't that like Gemini? You guys don't like to be bored. You guys want stimulation. You like things to be different and changed up and whatnot. So here we go. Three different decks. So to help with directing this collective reading for everyone, we're sticking with pulling a card to help us look at which area of life these cards are applying to. So which area of life is your attention being directed to? And the house that we're looking at here is the first house. The first house is like, first house is like has a lot to do with our identity. Definitely like has to do with our body, but it has to do with our identity in this world. And like our bursting out into the world, our desire to like go out, explore, like find out, what is this world all about? Who am I? Who am I in this world? Who am I all about? It's all about the I, like it's the I am house, right? It's I am. And so it's a lot of this like desire to burst out into life and explore and do in order to, I think, discover a part of like our identity and who we are and how we want to identify. It's definitely a me world, right? And we can look at it from like, this is from the perspective of, you know, if we go backwards in the house system and we look at the 12th house is like this, like the womb, right? And we're being like born into the first house. That's why your rising sign is the first house. So maybe, and that's so funny that I started the video with Gemini rising. Oh yeah, and sun. It's like, but this is in the first house, which is funny. This is about rising. So that's me and my geek brain. So that's how we can kind of start to like filter through the story that's unfolding here that we're looking at here, right? So Gemini, welcome and congratulations for making it through that gnarly, insane month of all kinds of big astrological changes in the month of March. Like here we are. Things are probably going to start to feel a little bit different as we progress out of that last month and into this month of April. And so what we're taking a look here is like that you have the first card showing up as the Seven of Cups. And I think that given whatever things have been kind of like the soil being loosened around the roots of your life, wherever that happened last month, you might be considering new options, new paths forward, new places that you want to go and explore, or new identities, new sense of self. Like, who am I now? Who am I in this space? Who am I related to the world at this point? You know, what do I want to explore next? You know, where do I want to put my time and attention, right? And this can also cause a little bit of overwhelm or confusion, right? It can kind of muddy the water sometimes when we have so many different things that we're considering. We can start to get kind of cloudy on like, what is it that would really feel good to me? Like, what do I really want? What feels the most aligned? You know, and like, if there's anything that I can actually say about the first house, you know, first house is typically associated with Aries, which is ruled by Mars, right? And like, we are talking about that, like your identity, yourself, I am, right? And so, you know, I think like getting back to a sense of like, you know, leaning into, looking at, feeling into like, who am I now? What do I want to explore? How do I feel? Like, who am I now in this next part of life? Like, what is the action? What am I being called to do here? Right. And then we move into the another, it's a fire associated card, and we move into the middle of the month, and we have the Strength card, which is ruled by Leo, right? And the Strength card is a heart path, right? This is definitely a card that, or a sign where Leo is about that heart. Leo is about following its heart and whatever would make the heart happy and feel most nourished and most creative and most expressed, right? And we have this showing up with within this tarot card of Leo, and Leo really has, or I'm sorry, the Strength card really has to do with taming these inner beasts and making friends with them. You know, it's like whatever might be causing some confusion in the beginning of the month, or whatever is feeling like overwhelming or not really sure which paths to take. You know, I think that part of this comes from, again, I was talking about alignment, and the Strength card has to do partially with alignment, because when we sit down with the things that feel like struggle to us, the things that feel challenging to us, are like our limiting beliefs or the thought patterns or whatever it is, the negative voices in our head, like our own shadow aspects, and we don't resist them, and we actually give them voice, and we actually hear what they have to say. Like, they all have a message for us. They're all just going to get louder or keep coming through in bursts if we don't listen, right? And so paying attention to what those inklings are, and just like, okay, I'm gonna be with this, right? She's not afraid of this predator, like this beast of like that is a predator, right? Instead of this, she's merged with it. She's made friends with this beast, right? Instead of being afraid of a lion, she's just like petting it calmly and hanging out with this maiden, right? And so there is this kind of gentle strength and peace that comes from when we're able to be with those aspects of our life. And there's a level of clarity that comes from that too, because when you're no longer fighting against some internal like shadow aspect of yourself or anything like that, you come into this place where you can actually just be more, I think, grounded and at peace with yourself, and therefore have the clarity to go, okay, yeah, I'm not wrestling with those things. My energy isn't being taken up by that. My vision isn't being clouded by any of those things, like the loud voices in my head, or I don't mean literal loud voices in my head, but you know, like the thoughts that we think, or the internal voice, like the internal dialogue that can happen. And so we have that sense of clarity, and we're able to move forward. I think part of this is there's going to be an integration period towards the end of the month where you're going to need to, like, you know, Gemini, you can't just be stimulated all the time. You can't just be talking all the time. You can't just like be inputting information and details and facts and data in your mind all of the time. You need to like give yourself a break. You need to give your body a break. You need to take care of your health. You need to give yourself some grace and some peace here, and slow things down. You can't just be go all the time. And I think you're going to get to the end of March and realize that this is something that's necessary for you to pay attention to. Like, you got to integrate the insights that you get. And you got to also, in order to get inspiration, we have to slow down and make space for it to come in. You know, we can't just be like doing, going, the way that the first house definitely can be. The energy of the first house is like, go out there and be, right? And also Gemini energy can be very like inputting and like, you know, bringing in energy like all the time, like be like voraciously, or speaking like nonstop. And so there is a need to create a spaciousness and some solace for you to get the answers and the integration and the inspiration to move forward in your life and to move into the next stage, right? So, you know, it's like we have some stuff astrologically that's going to be coming up, and I could talk about it, but honestly, I didn't want to make these videos as long as the last ones that I did. So trying to like condense. Maybe I'll do some videos. I've been talking about doing some videos astrologically for a while, but you know, we're coming into eclipse season soon here, and that means that there are going to be things that, you know, could put us to the test in terms of our clarity and our need to see like what we're bringing in, what we're aligned with, what's not aligned with us anymore, what we're letting go of. And in order to have that kind of clarity, I think we need this, right? So I'm just kind of like seeing this all come forward, and I think it has to do with the next iteration of yourself that's starting to like show itself. When we look at the challenge that's coming up, we have the the Page of Swords. So Page of Swords, you know, I think like you want to figure this out a little bit too quickly. You know, it's not time to do more and more research, right? Like your options, like maybe you think I'll get clarity if I just do more research and I find more data and I have an understanding. But I don't think that like the answers that you're looking to get or that you need for this particular month are going to come strictly from your mind. Like your mind is definitely a powerful asset. Like Gemini is mind, right? Like I think, right? And so this is a place where, you know, doing more research, doing more investigating, that's not necessarily going to clear things up for you. That's not, I think, going to be the most effective way to do this. And I think you can also just drive yourself to a place of, instead of getting clarity, feeling less clear, and maybe just feeling even like too much pressure or anxiety like coming forward about this, like to try and figure it out, right? So give yourself some time. It's not going to go as quickly as you probably want it to go. And also with that, you know, I like that these cards are actually lining up here, but you have, with your spiritual advice, you have the 9 of Cups showing up. This guy's having a good time. He's having a good time. You know, like, sometimes you need to just like, hey, pour a glass of wine, relax with some friends, laugh, appreciate life. You know, you may not have the answers that you want quite yet. You may be still going through this transitory process or figuring things out or like integrating things and doing personal work and whatever it is, like whatever this is about with regard to like your first house, you know, themes, right? Whatever this, like, however this is touching your life, it's important for us to like, not just rest, but for us to enjoy our fucking lives. So like, remember to enjoy your life, like take time to actually, you know, enjoy how far you've come and what you've learned. Like you've learned a lot, you've done a lot, you've gathered a lot of information, you know, you've accomplished different things. Maybe you're not exactly where you want to be with certain things or whatever, but you can still appreciate it. And that's also something that you'll hear people talk about. It's now super played out in the realm of, you know, spirituality and personal growth and development, which is like the whole like, you know, what you like attracts like, and so be in the energy and the frequency of like what it is that you want to bring in more of. And it's so overused that people just like, you know, including myself, sometimes will just roll my eyes at it, you know. But the thing is that there is a lot of you know, there's a lot of good in that, and it is important, you know, to appreciate, to stop and appreciate along the way. Otherwise, you're just running and going and never stopping to really like recognize. And the thing is too, when you stop and appreciate like what you've done or how far you've come or what there is to be grateful for or to be appreciative or the people to be appreciative of in your life, when you stop and do that, not only is your life just feeling more full and beautiful and abundant in all the different ways, but it just is, I think, helps us also get another like kind of hint at, or another piece of that like clarity that we're wanting, right? You know, because when you can go, yeah, actually I do have it really good in these areas of my life, or actually I am pretty fucking lucky to have this person in my life, or to be doing what I'm doing, or, you know, maybe it's not perfect, but it's this. And so from that, you can kind of like, it loosens, it almost like dissolves a little bit of like the grip and the anxiety that can come forward with like, you know, with not having that. And so when you feel a little bit loose and a little bit more appreciative, you might see, I actually don't need to focus so much on those things, but, you know, I do want to focus over here, or like, I still want to focus on this, but like, it doesn't feel as urgent as it felt. It's not life or death actually at this moment, right? Like you just get clarity in a different way. I hope that feels really clear. I'm just trying to really make sure that stands out. So as you can see, the light is just changing a lot here. So anyway, you know, Gemini, I hope that this is helpful for you for this month. I feel like this is pretty clear, you know, definitely if you want something that is, you know, even more clear and specific to you, you can get a reading with me, and that information is in the description down below. But also you can check out, if this is your rising, check out your sun sign. If you want to get a better picture, if this is like vibing with you, maybe check out the Gemini reading for the last moon reading that I did. In another weekish or so, like I will have the next readings out for the moon, right? So, but this is for the month. So this is just to give you a sense of like what this month looks like. Anyhow, I hope that that's helpful, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.